What is alchemy? Alchemy is basically chemistry and sorcery combined together. This is a polytheistic world. And the idea is that because it's a polytheistic world, it's a chaotic world, and somehow, if you're clever enough, you're able to hack this world, okay? Think of it as hacking. That there are secrets to this world, and you are able to take elements in this world, combine together, and create something called the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone is the power of God in order to give you the elixir of immortality, in order to live forever, as well as to manipulate the environment. So basically turn lead into gold. And again, this was an extremely popular practice in ancient societies. Okay, so these are three major sciences in the primitive societies: China, Egypt, and India. And they promulgated outwards and influenced other societies. We still have them today, okay? There are still people who practice alchemy, sacred geometry, and astrology today. Okay? Any questions about this before I move on? Okay, so this is primitive science. So the question then is, what's the difference? Okay, so let's focus on the three major differences between pre-modern science and modern science. Okay, the first major difference is it focuses on the spiritual world, on the outer worldly. All right, and the point of science was to create harmony between our world and the spiritual world. Okay, because if you harmonize these two worlds, you can have a more prosperous, more peaceful future. Today, we are only focused on the material world, the world that we can see and know, in order to create progress. Okay, we've abandoned the spiritual world and we focus on this material world in order to manipulate it, in order to promote technological progress. And quite honestly, we have been extremely successful at that. In fact, I will argue we've been too successful at that. Okay, so that's the first major difference between pre-modern and modern science. Second major difference is that pre-modern science relies entirely on intuition and imagination. Okay, you don't do experiments. You don't have conferences, you don't debate. You just meditate, you just dream, okay? And you often fall into trances in order to communicate with the spiritual world. In this world, they use a lot of hallucinogenics, okay? A lot of psychedelics, okay? Including magic mushrooms, a drink called soma, which is very important in the Hindu religion, as well as the Zoroastrian religion. It's basically a psychedelic, okay? Today, we don't rely on intuition and imagination. We think this is superstitious. We rely mainly on something called the scientific method, okay? And later on, I will discuss the scientific method more in detail, right? Now, last thing is, in pre-modern science, people are relying on divine inspiration in order to discover the truth. The big question is, what is truth? Today, we care about the question, how do we know truth? Okay, it's really the idea of the institutionalization of doubt. Our main priority is to question and doubt the truth. And what will happen is, because of this emphasis change, we've changed from what is truth to how do we know truth. It will launch a revolution in technological progress. All right?